Oh, I should see if I can share it out from my phone.
Good morning or good afternoon, wherever you are. Welcome to Enlightened World Network with Sue Broome, messages from our loved ones. I'm Dr. Ruth Anderson, and so pleased to have you with us here today. Now, the way that this particular show works, we rely on you. We rely on you to write in the messages so we know who it is that you want to hear from. So if there's anybody that you want to be hearing from today, make sure that you write that in the messages. And Sue, I'm going to go to Restream so I can see messages all in one place. So I'm just going to
go right ahead. And I'm trying to share it from my phone.
Okay.
Because I think I can. Oh, and I think newsfeed.
And we're just going to wait for that awkward silence for somebody to. So we talk so much about death and transition and messages from folks from the other side. I just wanted to share something with you this morning. Was I woke up from a dream and I had seen my mother-in-law, my ex-mother-in-law. So it has been 30 years since I even saw her. And I remember when my fiance and I was 20, keep this in mind. When my fiance and I told her and my father-in-law that we wanted to get married, and her first response was, "Why don't you wait?" Right? Not a congratulations, we'd love to have you in the family, welcome, nothing. Why don't you wait about 10 years? She got married at about 30. And back at that time, that was late, right? For somebody to get married. And I remember feeling quite crushed that was her first, idea about getting married. And then 10 years later, he and I divorced. And there's part of me that thinks, oh, maybe Vani was right. Maybe we should have waited 10 years. And I'm not sure that her advice was off base, right? And similarly, if my daughters came to me at 20 and said, I want to get married, I'd probably say something like, why would you hurt me, right? I mean, you could live to be 90. Do you really want to be with the same person for 70 years, right? So I woke up this morning and I had seen Vani, my ex-mother-in-law, in a dream that last night that didn't feel like a dream. It's one of those when spirit comes to you and a message. And her words to me were kind of along the lines of, you really were a good friend to him. And it was kind of like, I was okay that you were together. And I thought, I wonder if she passed over. Because I know a couple years ago she was alive but old, right? I mean, she's got to be pushing 90. And I thought, I wonder if she passed over and just making amends is too strong, because I cared about her. That's too strong. But I think it was almost like giving a blessing afterwards.
Yeah. Did you search and see if she crossed?
I don't really have any place to search. I mean, he was on Facebook a couple years ago, but he hasn't been on it.
Yeah, you can just search for obituaries.
Oh, that's true. I could do that.
Yeah. But it actually, it feels like, I'm sure that she probably did. And there was something in this message that she left you that you needed to hear now. Because it doesn't feel like, if she would have, like, if you would have seen her in person 3 years ago and she would have said that, I don't think it would have had the same meaning for you then that it does now.
Oh, that's interesting.
So, yeah, that's, see, and the chimes agree.
I love that. I love those chimes.
Well, and I'll tell you, so spirit comes to people in so many different ways, and we really have to be open to those messages. So a friend of mine, she just recently moved. Her mother recently passed away. I mean, within 3 months, I think. Maybe 4 months, but not very long. And she was extremely close with her mom. And they were in business together, and she is adopted, but they did a lot of things together. And she has a son who is adopted. I think he's like 3 or 4. It must be 4. So they were she was missing her mom that day. And her mom's name is Trish. She went to a store, a hardware kind of store, and out of all the lanes, only one lane is open. So she goes up to that lane, and her son marches up, a little 4-year-old, cute little kid, says, "Hi, my name is," and he says his name. And she goes, "Well, hi, my name is Trish."
Ooh, goosebumps.
Yeah. So, yes, we just have to be open, because our loved ones are always looking for ways to come to us, whether it's in a dream or whether it's through a cashier at a hardware store.
Right, right. And so I wanted to ask you too. We do have a couple folks that are watching.
Mm-hmm.
We've got 6 people that are actually on with us, but people are being shy. Nobody's typing anything in just yet. I woke up the other morning. I adored my parents, but I don't think of them that often. Does that sound weird? It's my mom
No,
passed away, in
it's not
November.
weird.
I just don't think of them because in a way it doesn't feel like they're very far.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're always kind of right there. But the other morning, and Luann, please write in the name of who you are wanting to hear something from. I woke up the other morning and I was so sad. I missed them both so much. And I thought, what is this? And it almost made me think that they had been with me in my sleep. That was the feeling that I got. Like, oh, I got to be back with them, and I woke up and now they're gone.
Yeah.
Does that make any sense?
Yeah, it's like spending time at somebody's house and then you leave to go home.
Right. Yeah, that's how it felt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that totally makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I do understand where, because like, it's funny because I know my mom shows up a lot more than my dad, but I also know I think about my mom a lot more than I do my dad. And it's not because I didn't love him. In fact, he and I, boy, up until I was 18, we just fought like cats and dogs. But after I moved out of the house, after a good year, then he and I got really close, and I was able to have a lot of decent conversations with him. And I'd go over to his house and we'd have really good talks. So, yeah.
Yeah. So Luann would love to hear from her dad, Louis.
Dad Louis. Friend of mine, his name is Louis. He's a wizard. I can't remember what the name of his company is, but he's into crystals, and his name is Louis.
How interesting.
Yes, very fun. All right, Mr. Dad Louis. So Luann, just think of your dad as I'm shuffling the cards. Think of a memory if you want. A lovely, happy memory. For some reason, fishing is coming to me. Fishing was not anything that my grandpa liked to fish. My dad, I don't remember my dad fishing, but of course, it was too boring for me and putting worms on. Too gross. But for some reason, fishing is coming to me. Now, I'll tell you, the cards are going to look backwards. I would be willing to bet because I'm on my iPad. So, and I'll show it to you. It says, I will ask the birds to sing for you.
It doesn't
I
look
will ask the
backwards to
birds.
me. It's not like it doesn't look backwards in Restream.
Well, that's good. And maybe with this setup, it flips it, because I see it backwards. Yesterday on Facebook Live, everything was backwards. But so it's really interesting. And I know it says, I will ask the birds. And it's so interesting because the birds around here are just singing like there's no tomorrow sometimes. And there's one that sits up on top of the tree. And I found out, I looked it up, it's a northern mockingbird. So he does all these different kind of songs. He'll do a little song, and then all of a sudden it changes to something else, and then it changes to something else. And then he does this little up and back down, like a foot and a half, comes back down. And he does that over and over. But the thing with this and your dad, it's like, it's not always that you'll hear a bird singing. It might be something else that resonates with you. So I would really pay attention to things that you're hearing in general, whether it's a bird singing, whether it's the chimes going off, whether it's somebody at the next table over saying something that, makes you think of your dad. And what I like to say to people is like, well, did they make you think of your dad? Or is your dad standing there, reaching out to you, or with, hand on your shoulder? Which came first? And it doesn't matter. But so really pay attention, Luann, to the things that you're hearing that are related to your dad, whether it's a question that you're asking, whether it's something that he liked. Like I said, I keep seeing fishing. So I don't know if he liked to fish, or if it was something that, thoughts of you and him. I don't know. There's something with fish that I keep seeing. So
I'm definitely seeing outside. Whether it's even walking through a garden. And Luann is saying he loved to fish. Yeah, I was seeing him outside. I can see the fishing, but I can also hear the birds in the background. Yeah, that's sweet.
The birds are and we have parrots here. So many times they just fly through my yard. Well, last week, 3 or 4 days in a row, they were under the grapefruit tree eating something. So I don't know if it was the flowers from the grapefruit tree or what, but there was at one point I had 10 little parrots. They're like the peach-faced lovebirds is what they truly are, but everybody calls them parrots. And they're so pretty with the bright green and the peach, and then some of them have blue on their tail or on their belly. They're just fun.
Wow, I didn't realize you guys had those. What I want to share with you, Luann, a friend of mine, a gentleman that I've met once. This is a funny story. We're going to take a little diversion because we aren't getting as many folks in yet, but they will. I had received a flyer in the mail, and it was to go to a workshop over lunch from somebody that had helped me publish my book. And I thought, I don't really want to do that. And I kept hearing spirit nudging, like, you should go. You should go. I'm thinking, man, it's in Denver. It's snowing. I don't want to go. Spirit's gone, you should go. You should go. Okay, fine. So I drive an hour. I go to this thing. The place is packed. There's one seat left in the room. So I sit down, and Spirit's gone, okay, talk to people. It's like, oh, I'm an introvert. I don't want to start talking to people. He goes, yeah, talk to people. So I turned to the gentleman next to me, and I said, oh, so you're writing a book. I said, what's your book about? He says, well, my wife, Suzanne, passed away, and she comes to me in my sleep. I thought,
Mm.
okay, here we go. This is exactly why I'm supposed to be here. He just finished writing his third book. His name is Ward Barcafer, Barcafer. Suzanne comes to him continuously and teaches him about life in the ethereal
Wow.
realm. And fascinating stuff. So when you say your father loved fishing, I'm getting total goosebumps right now. He can be fishing in the ethereal realm because he gets to create what his world looks like for him there. So your dad might still be fishing. So that's exciting. Okay.
That's very cool.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
when spirit whispers, go ahead and follow up on it because Lord knows what it's going to open for you, what doors it's going to open. Nikki
Mhm.
Summer would love a message from spirit.
So nobody in particular.
Nobody in particular.
Let's see what spirit has to say. Yeah, life is so interesting, isn't it?
It is.
If that card wanted to come out. It's perfect. I listen when you talk with me. And you know the thing this is why I love the interaction of Ruth and I, because it's so funny, because what was she just saying? And then spirit said, so it's a really good confirmation for her as well. But Nikki, it you never know where the information, who it is that's going to give you that information. Is it coming in your ear from, spirit within? Is it coming from someone else's mouth? It's pay attention. And the spirit speaks to us in so many different ways, but it's really paying attention. And if you're uncertain, it's like, well, I heard that, I don't know. It's like, put your hand on your heart and see, what does it feel like? And just ask, well, is that something I'm supposed to listen to? What is it? Clear your energy. What does it feel like? And you might also get just a big confirmation right after that, where, you get an image in your head, or a certain bird flies by, or an animal goes by, or somebody honks their horn. It's like something is getting your attention. So pay attention, listen to what you're getting. And a way to start, if you're uncertain, it might be having a notepad and just jotting notes. It's like, well, I heard this, I'm going to write this down and I'm going to set it aside, or, and just kind of see what comes up. So, hopefully that was helpful, Nikki. That was pretty cool.
That is cool. And just one little thing on that. I don't
Mhm.
know if y'all have ever felt just even like a fluttering in your body. Like maybe it could even be just like a fleeting headache, just like, wow, what was that? Or sometimes I'll get like gosh, I feel like I have to cough. And it's not a cough. And I know, or a tingling in my lungs. And just stop and do exactly what you said, Sue, with am I supposed to pay attention to this? And if I even got a hold of it and pulled it out, what is it? What does it look like?
Yeah.
Right? Is it somebody who wants me to think of them? Is it what is that? But that is a way that spirit will talk to us. And it's just us and our body, and they use whatever they can to kind of get our attention.
And along those lines, thank you so much for bringing in the body, because yes, our bodies, I mean, like the chills, we got chills just a little bit ago. The other thing that I've had happen is where just in one ear, all of a sudden there's like a high pitched, and it's almost like it goes and then it stops. And then it's like, okay, what am I supposed to pay attention to?
Yeah, so weird. Or in your visual field, do you ever get that, Sue? Like, so recently I've been getting either a swatch of color,
Uh,
and it isn't even always the same color, so it's not like some weird oddity with my visual field, or I had, got a little flashing light. The one time I was sitting there and all of a sudden in my peripheral vision, I was getting blue flashing light. It's like, what? What is that? So yeah, it's fascinating how they use all of our senses, or you might get that whiff of a smell, like a perfume or
Yeah.
fresh raspberries or whatever. All of that is spirit talking to us.
Right. That's right.
Very cool. Okay, who is next? Isabel Reese wants to hear from her sister, Teresa Muga. Mouga. And blue lights. Nikki Summer gets blue lights too. High pitched sounds. Yes, you know what we're talking about.
Yeah, our bodies, sometimes that is how spirit talks to us. And we just have to pay attention.
Mm-hmm.
This has not ever happened to me, but this thought came to me about your body. If all of a sudden you have a craving for something that you haven't had in a really long time or haven't ever had, and it's like, like if I got a craving for coconut, it's like, really? I don't like coconut, So that, and I've never had that thought before, but it just crossed my mind. Okay, so Isabel from Sister Teresa, I love this one. Our love is ever expanding.
Aww.
And I love it. The reason I love it so much is because many people, not everybody, thinks that when someone dies that, they're gone. And it's not that they're gone. They're still here. They're just here in a different way. So our love, the love we have for them, the love they have for us, it's not that it stops. It's not that it goes away. It does expand because there's a difference with it. So giving it time to, chills, giving it time to grow into something different. Yes, the love is still there, but the communication is different. So allowing that love to expand in different ways and exploring the love in a different way. Going back to the story you shared, Ruth, about Suzanne coming to her husband, and it's like, well, look at that love, how it shifted and changed and absolutely expanded. So just because they're not here in the physical 3D world does not mean that the love isn't there and growing and continuing to grow.
Yeah. Welcome, Diana. I'm glad you're here. So, Sue, show me that card again, because what I just realized is the first word is not capitalized. Is it that way on all of them?
I did that. I did, except for if I did an I.
I've not noticed that before, but
Yeah.
you know what? It feels to me, I love that you did that. I honestly never noticed that before. I love that you did that because it feels like it's a continuation of a conversation.
It absolutely is.
Wow, cool.
Yes, and I don't think there's punctuation in any of them either, so.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Okay, got some. Oh, Diana, cool. Okay, so the next one, Marissa Sanchez wants to hear from her son, Horatio Tapia.
I love doing this with you, Miss Ruth.
I do too. It's one of my favorite shows of the month.
Don't tell anybody else that. Unless you say that to everybody.
No, theirs is my favorite show of the month, but
All right, come on, Rach. Oh, there we go. Okay, our connection is strengthened through breath. Yes, breath is so important, and it's It's like, so on a different vein, when Ruth and I first connected, I was a little frazzled just because of technology today. And so I just had to take a couple deep breaths, and it shifts the energy. Breath is our connection. Breath is our connection to spirit. Breath is our connection to our loved ones on the other side. Breath is our connection to our loved ones here. Breath is our connection. And when we can stop and just like, close your eyes and think of something with Horatio, even picture his face, and do nothing else but breathe and just feel there's that connection, almost like there's the flow that is not you and him, but it's the both of you going together. And our breath is our way to do that. Oh my gosh, this feels really good. And Marissa, I hope you can feel that, because I feel like this is a really important message for you, specifically for today, because I don't know, if maybe you've been missing him so much lately. There's just something about the connection that's really, really getting enhanced today. So our connection is strengthened through your breath.
Well, and Sue, what's interesting for me on this one, Marissa, I don't know how old he was when you lost Horatio, but he's showing me him at about 3 years old. And spirit can choose any form to present themselves, any age, however they look. But I'm seeing him at about 3, and he looks so happy and just so vibrant and so full of life that I'm wondering if you got to experience him at 3. But he's showing me that joyful, exuberant, happy version of Horatio. Okay.
I'd love to hear how old he is too.
Yeah.
I'm not picturing a child, but I'd love to hear how old he was.
Oh, he was 29 when he passed. Marissa said she's been consciously breathing for some time now. I felt the need to do so.
Oh, perfect. Yeah.
Nice. And Diana Beiersdorfer is one of our hosts here on Enlightened World Network. She's on with us. And one of her shows has been about connection with her husband, Steve, who passed. So pleased to have you here, Diana, with us. Let's see. Kim Diana Timms. Let me go back and find your message here. This is a twofer. My little cousin Lisa, C-O-Z, I'm guessing cousin Lisa, she died in a fire many years ago. My uncle Henry died trying to save her.
So 2 cards.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that was from Kim?
That is from Kim Diana Timms.
So as I'm shuffling, Lisa, and Ruth, I don't know if you know this. I had 3 cousins that died in a fire.
Oh, no, I didn't know that.
So my cousin, that family, there was 10 kids. And it was July 4th, 1972 or 73. I can't remember. It was before my mom died. She died in 1974. Somebody had thrown fireworks into the garage, and it set it on fire. My cousin Michael, I believe he was the oldest. He had gotten a couple of the kids out, and he went back in to get Barbara and Fred. And those 3 did not come out.
Holy cow, I had no idea.
Yeah, so Kim, I And it's interesting that it's your cousin and your uncle, and this was my cousin, so
Yeah.
it's very interesting. All right, there's from Lisa. Yeah, I find it interesting too, because it was Michael, of course, Archangel Michael I worked with so much. So it's just so perfect. All right, Henry, come on. It's funny when they take their time showing me the card.
Well, what I'm here, I think you're supposed to do Lisa first.
I have Lisa's card.
You've got her card. Okay.
Yep, there it is. See, it's awesome. Okay, so Lisa, my feelings of love are real, always and forever.
Hmm.
And I love this. So I don't know if what the relationship with you and Lisa were, but it feels like there was maybe a distance or something between the two of you. Maybe you communicated different ways, but it's it feels like there's right now, I don't know how long ago the fire happened, but it feels like right now there's this connection that you have with her today. It's like it's initiating something. It's like this was kind of a stepping stone in moving forward with her in a different way. So I don't know. It's so interesting. Yeah. It just feels like there's something that's shifting and changing. So like, and I feel like I need to bring this up. One of the ways I started really connecting with my mom was writing. I would write a question with my right hand, and I would let my mom write it with, the answer with my left hand. And I can tell, you can tell it's somebody else just by the words that they use. And I feel like there's something, Kim, that there's some new connection that you're going to have with Lisa. And maybe it's that way. Maybe it's just doing something that the two of you used to do, or you used to talk about, and now you're going to take it up, or you're exploring it. So it feels like something is shifting with your relationship with Lisa. So Miss Ruth, what are you getting before I do Uncle Henry?
Yes, but I think what's shifting, it almost feels like there's something that Kim is to bring into the world on behalf of Lisa, like Lisa's
Yep.
voice and bringing something forward. Does that make sense? I mean, it could even be like plant a flower, plant a tree, but
Yeah.
bringing something into this world on behalf of her that maybe she would have goosebumps. So I know I'm right. That she would have wanted to do if she were here. Like some folks
Yeah.
might do a dedication at a
Yep.
building. If you had a
Yeah.
building, you make the Lisa
Yep.
whatever wing kind of thing.
Yeah, when you said that planting a tree, it totally, it feels like it's carrying on her legacy in some way.
Right.
And the planting a tree may be that way. Now, maybe finding it is yes, going for a walk, or exploring the handwriting, exploring meditation, doing the breath with, to explore it with her. But I feel like so what just came to me is like, I always talk about go into a memory that you have with someone, go into that, but you can also go into a new memory. So where you meet up with Lisa and you're sitting at a picnic table, or you're going for a walk, and have a conversation with her that now I'm getting chills, and have a conversation with her that way, so she can help bring it forth with you.
Yeah, I love that. And remember, she doesn't necessarily look exactly how she did. So if she died when she was 12, she might come to you as a 25-year-old.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
just be open to however she presents.
Yeah.
You'll know. You'll know that it's her because it'll feel like her.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny because my brother who crossed when he was 4, when I see him, he's in either late 20s, maybe early 30s, but he's definitely an adult male. So, yeah. All right, let's see what Uncle Henry has to say. Oh, so this is interesting because this card has already come up. This is our connection is strengthened through breath. So, and there go the chimes right as soon as I said breath. So that is really, again, it's really important. What I can't remember who else had this card, but it's the same. It's the connection piece and just being with them in that breath, in that, whether you're going into a meditation or a past memory, or just even having a picture of them. Because some people might be like, well, I don't meditate, or I can't meditate, or I can't get my mind quiet. It's like, that's okay. Have a picture of them at the kitchen table and light a candle and have a conversation with them. It's allowing and inviting them into, I want to have a conversation with you. And even as I say that, it's like you can ask a question or say, when you're having a conversation with someone, it's not that you're doing all the talking. So you ask them a question or you say something and you allow them to respond. So allow it to happen. So
what I got on that one, Sue, and it's almost going to make me cry. The impression that I'm getting, what I'm seeing is that when Henry went in to help Lisa, he knew they were probably going to die. And he wasn't going to let her go through that alone.
Wow, yeah.
I got that he really enjoyed his life. I mean, he seems like happy, laughing, really enjoyed life. And he knew he was trading that, but he wasn't going to let her go through that alone.
That's really beautiful.
Yeah. Very sweet.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. As you say that, I think of when Michael went back in, if he had something similar, because obviously with him being the oldest, Barbara and Fred were younger. I don't know how much younger they were, but yeah, that's very cool. And it's such a giving thing to do for someone, because just being with them. I mean, anytime you can be with someone as they're crossing, it's a beautiful experience. So
yeah. Yep. Huh, okay. Okay, Kim, you're making me cry. All right. Stephanie Stafford would love to hear from her mother. And I think, Stephanie, you said your mom's name was Mary. Yes, her name's Mary. And Stephanie said she sure appreciates us helping y'all trying to reach your loved ones.
Absolutely. We enjoy doing this, Miss Stephanie, and thank you for joining us. Everyone, thank you so much for joining us. The interaction is fun, and like I said, I love the interaction Ruth and I have, and I think it helps not only the giving the information that we get, but the interaction in between, because if you follow it, it weaves its way through the readings as well. So it's fun that way. Mary. I was going to say Mother Mary. Oh, perfect. So Stephanie, did you call your mom? Did you call her mom, or did you call her mother? I know some people that they refer to their mom. They call her mother. I'm just curious.
Well, and I think it changes all the time too. My oldest daughter all of a sudden starts calling me mother. It's like, mother? Who is that? But I remember I used to have different nicknames for my mom at different times. So I think it just kind of ebbs and flows. But
Yeah, I when my mom crossed, I still called her mommy. I hadn't gotten to the mom calling her mom.
yeah. Stephanie called her mom. Mom.
All right, let's see what she says. Be in this present moment. It feels like it's going back to breath a little bit, but it also, and I know, Steph, I know you're really good about being in the present moment. I know that you've worked a lot with this, and it feels like there's, so what I'm getting is it's almost like she's been trying to show you something. And so being really present, you will notice it. I think that and as I say that, I feel like you've started to notice different things. And it's like, there's things from when you were a child, there's things that you are starting to notice, either that you and her used to do together, or that she used to talk, tell you stories about. But so it's so interesting. When I was in and stuff, okay, imagine walking down in downtown Prescott, and I'm getting, that there was, you walk past where Mountain Spirit was and go a couple more buildings, and there was the antique places. And I feel like I'm drawn to those antique places. And now even as I say that, I'm getting chills. And it feels like there's some connection that you are noticing. And maybe it's that you've just been to an antique store, or your mom liked antiquing, that there's a connection that, pick up this potato ricer, and oh, my mom used to make rice potatoes all the time. Or there's something that's connecting you, but you really need to be in this present moment in order to notice it. So Steph, I'd love to hear what you say on that. But Ruth, what do you have to say?
I think your mother is with you quite a bit. And I think she's talking with you as if you're hearing and you're not always paying attention. But I'm just seeing her talking with you while you're outside. So I think just realize she's into antiques. Stephanie. Oh, Stephanie says she's the antique. No, you're not. Stop it.
No.
But I just see, Stephanie, I see your mom with you when you're outside. So I think just be open to that. I think so often we think, oh, they're not with us unless I really feel them right at that moment. And I'm not sure that that's accurate. I think they're with us more often than we are aware of.
I think so too. So the visual I'm getting is like, if you can imagine, we're all holding hands. And if you are holding hands with someone and you're just holding hands, it gets to the point where you can almost not feel their hand unless they squeeze it. And that's what it feels like. It's like, yeah, I'm with you, but until there's something that I'm here, you just take it for granted, because it just feels normal, which it is. It really is normal. So yeah, something that you can do. Every single person can do this. When you wake up in the morning, invite them into your day, invite them to show you something that maybe you hadn't noticed before. If you're going to go for a walk, invite them to go with you and say, hey, what do you got to show me today, Mom? And it doesn't matter what you're doing, whether you're gardening, whether you're going for a walk, whether you're, jogging, whether it doesn't matter. Invite them because they like that. Because they're here anyway.
Yeah, I'm definitely getting gardening with my mom. So Stephanie, I don't know if she was a gardener or if you're a gardener, but that feels like a real time for her to be like fatouching the plants next to you, teaching you fatouching. Yeah, so enjoy that. Thank you, Stephanie. Robert Dosa is looking for a message from Spirit.
Great. Let's see what we got.
Oh, her mom grew roses. Thank you, Stephanie. I appreciate it.
Oh, perfect.
Yep.
I know it's fun watching the cactus. They're definitely blooming now. So seeing all that. I had a lot of roses when I was down southern Arizona, but I don't have any here. I don't see as many roses here.
It might be too hot.
But I don't know. Down in southern, and it was only like 5 degrees cooler there, but I think I had 4 or 5 different rose bushes. Sorry for my alarm going off. Now, some might think, oh, that's really annoying that she's got her phone alarm going off. Or, who is that a message for? Who needs that alarm going off? And maybe it's even that sound. It's so funny. It's like when I used to do angel card readings, I would, I'd always tell, or classes or whatever, tell people to turn their phone on stun or and then undoubtedly somebody's would have to go off. And it's like, well, who is that a message for? Or what is it emphasizing? So pay attention to that. Oh, it's so funny. Okay, you're going to laugh on this one, Robert. There are no words. And the reason I find it so funny is because of the alarm. Are there any words on that alarm? No. That is so funny. But so Robert, I also feel like even, some of the conversations that we've been having is feel into. Yes. Feel into, whether you can feel it, with your hand on your chest, or whether you're getting that fluttering in your stomach, or, a tickle, a tickle on the back of your neck. And it's like, what is I feel like there's definitely something else. Forget the words, because people communicate without words all the time. So take those out of the mix and see what shows up. Wow. And all of a sudden I just saw a picture of a cloud. So I don't know if there's clouds that are starting to show themselves to you in different ways, Robert, when you're thinking about something or thinking about someone or looking for answers, and all of a sudden there's a cloud. It feels like there's something that's showing itself in a big way to you without words.
Robert said he was speechless. I thought that was
oh, perfect.
Robert, what I'm feeling is when you get a heaviness in your chest, pay attention to that, because I think when they're trying to get your attention, they might go there, because you'll notice that. So he said, so just follow the sings. Let's follow whatever you're feeling, whatever your attention is being drawn to. Because Robert's been with us for a lot of shows. I know that Robert gets a lot of information from Spirit. So yeah, just being aware, because they will use anything and everything to try to get our attention. So Sue, our next, signs. We follow the signs. Fusun, Fusun, Esra Ozer is new to this show. We've not seen Fusun's comments here before. Fusun would love to hear from Grandma Esmer, Esmer.
Right. I just, hummingbird did not fly by. In my mind, I'm thinking, oh, I wonder if a hummingbird will fly by, because all of a sudden a hummingbird came to me. And it's funny because the hummers here, because I don't have a lot of big flowers in my yard, they usually yeah, they are funny. Sometimes, I always thought it sounded like they would like do zooms around the house, and I started thinking differently, whether they're sitting there and making some kind of sound that makes it sound like they're doing anything,
Interesting.
because they can be quite noisy.
I love hummingbirds.
Grandma, come on, Grandma. Thought it was there. Now, I know I could stop and fan the cards, but today it feels like, no, not supposed to do that. There's Grandma. I will help you melt away your grief.
Mm.
And, I know that sometimes when someone first crosses, the grief is very thick. Because we miss them. We miss the physical connection, the touching, the holding hands, the sitting across the kitchen table, sharing a meal, talking with them. I used to call my grandma every single day the last few years that she was here. And so it's interesting because it's almost like there's something that either she used to cook, because what I'm seeing, and I know that the word in the card is melt, but there's like a pat of butter in a big old fry pan, the heavy, whatever those cast iron, and it's melting, but there's something that there's a connection that the two of you used to have. And I feel like going back into that memory, it will not only help with grief, but it will help with the connection to her and the connection that the two of you had, because there was some special connection that the two of you had, that there was maybe other grandkids, they just didn't have that with her, but I feel like there's something with some memory, and you'll know what it is, because I feel like the more you go into that memory, and even when I say go into it, I'm saying close your eyes, and what was the memory? What were you smelling? What were you hearing? What were you feeling? Not only emotional feel, but was there, like a heaviness of a pan, or the coolness of an ice cube, or the heat of a fire, things like that. All of those things bring all of those senses into it. Was there some aroma that you're picking up? All of those things. And that is it will help with your grief. Some might think that, oh no, I'm going to cry. And it's like, good, allow that to happen, because that's part of the melting. That's part of the melting to get past. And I don't mean get past because I want to get out of it. It's almost like when you allow the melting to happen, that's when the floodgates open of all of these other connections that the grief is holding right now, that the grief may be stopping. So that's what I'm getting.
What I was getting with that, I am really feeling like there's been a hesitance to really feel the grief, like putting up a blocker so you don't have to actually feel that.
Yeah.
The first thing that your grandmother showed me was meticulous detail and like perfectionism, like artwork or garden. I mean, anything, just this perfectionism, these tiny little details. And the feeling I have is that a bit of that expectation that you carry that perfectionism coming down through the lineage, you don't have to accept it if you don't want to, by the way. But that was just how she, it was really important to her that anything that came out of her doing looked just so. It was like how she showed love, actually, was by the perfectionism and the detail oriented that she put into things. So that's what I was feeling on that one. Beautiful. But yeah, don't be afraid to let yourself actually feel that.
It's funny, Ruth, when you're saying that. So my grandma Lindy, which was my mom's mom, she would have us over for Christmas Day, and any holiday that we went over there, she would always have, the table would all be set and everything in the kitchen. It was basically ready. So, so we didn't have to spend time on that. The table was set, everything was set up. All we had to do is, after chatting for a bit, we could sit down and everything was ready. And I know that about me as well. If I'm having somebody over, I always like to have everything set up ahead of time. And I have said to Grandma, I said, it's like, Grandma, I got this from you and thank you. I appreciate it, because then it takes away from, well, I have to do this while they're there. And it's like, okay, how can I? It's like, no, how do I get it done ahead of time? So Grandma always helps me with that.
That's
fun. Mm-hmm.
Okay, our last one for the day. Daily Diaz wants to hear from her mother. She said Daly's really been struggling recently. She always talks to her mom, but she doesn't know if the signs that she's seen are from her mom.
Okay, and did she say her mom's name? Not that she has to, but okay. No. So, and her name is Daly.
Daly.
Okay. So this is what when I'm telling people, whether they're connecting with angels or their loved ones, it's if you even halfway think, was that a sign? You say, thank you, may I have another? And may this next one be more obvious. But it's always, thank you, may I have another? And I feel like that helps the connection. Yeah. Daily and Mom. Moms are so special. Mm-hmm. It's funny because my neighbors that I'm over there on a regular basis. They're the ages that my there's only two of them. I'll look at them both, but they're the age. They're close to what my mom and dad would be. They might actually be a year or two older, but I find that interesting, and I really do like them. And yeah. Okay. So 2 cards flipped, and now I also want you to pay attention to when they flipped. As soon as I started talking about my neighbors and the connection that I have with my neighbors, and I really do enjoy them. So one of them is hold my hand, and the other one is notice the animals around you. And here's the interesting thing, especially with the animals, and it goes so what I'm seeing, what I'm noticing is, especially when you may not be openly crying, but maybe you're sitting there really missing your mom at a time. Maybe you're not openly crying, but an animal will sense that. And your dog might come up and lick your hand, or your cat might all of a sudden come and jump in your lap. Or if you're sitting outside, all of a sudden you might hear a bird start singing. There's all of these things, and all of them are to be taken into consideration, because they're all pieces of spirit. Your mom, I'm getting chills now. It's like loved ones on the other side. They're trying to find all of these ways, all of these different things. So if you think, oh, that could have been her, it's like, thank you, Mom. Can I have another one? Can you do something else? Or I hear you. And you notice when I say that, my hands go on my chest, because that's where you hear them, is with your heart. Even though it might be coming in through your ears, I hear you, Mom. Can I have another? And holding my hand, it feels like there may be something that is coming to you where you do feel something noticeable, whether it's on your hand or I don't know if you've ever had a bird fly so close that it feels like they just about landed on my head. You can almost feel your hair excuse me, your hair move. So there's something that is happening. And daily, it truly is like, thank you, Mom. Show me another sign. Thank you so much for that connection. So, yeah, Miss Ruth, what are you getting on that?
I think it's the same premise as the glass is half empty or the glass is half full. So spirit gives you a little sign. You can either do what Sue just said, which is, oh, yay, thank you. Can I have another one? Or you can do what some folks do, and which I've done at times, is, yeah, that might have been, but I don't think that was, so I'm going to discount that. And Mom is going, I'm here. I just did this. I just showed you this. I'm here. I'm hearing you. And you go, yeah, that wasn't. And Mom's going, come on, I'm right. I'm showing you. So I'm with you. So I would say go with the glasses half full, and anything that you get, just go, I hear it. I see it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah.
And I do think even if you took a little tiny note piece of paper, not much bigger than a card, and a 3x5 card, just for today or just for this week, write down every time you think that could have been, and say thank you, but that could have been, and write it down. Notice how many times, in how many ways you've been getting these signs or messages. And even sometimes you might even, it's like, oh wow, there was that scent of that flower. Oh, and then later that day I saw that flower. So just thinking about a flower, it's like you might see the word rose, then you might smell a rose, then you might see an actual rose blooming, and then you hear Ruth say the word rose. It's like, okay, oh my gosh, my mom loved roses. That's a sign, and that's a sign in so many different ways. So that might help some of you by just writing these little things down and just paying attention. It's like, oh wow, yeah, they're showing me signs in so many different ways. I just wasn't realizing.
Exactly. Yeah, I love it. Well, thanks everybody. That's all the time we've got for today. We are back once a month, and it is always the second Monday of the month?
Yep. So next time is May 10th.
May 10th. Great. And even if you were on with us today, come on back and we'll see if there's another message for you. Sue, thank you. You are so fun to do this with, and I just love I love watching you work and getting to be your sidekick for this. This is great. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Ruth, and thank you everyone who joined in. I love our interaction. That's what really I think helps a lot of people. So
Absolutely.
thank you.
Yeah. And folks are saying thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you in the comments.
Awesome.
So, yeah, so friends, take good care of yourself and God bless. You know, we're here for you here on Enlightened World Network. Just stay watching because there's different things coming up every day. So just watch for the show guide in Facebook. Every day there's a show guide at the top of the page. So take good care. We'll see you later.